I'm Samantha Shover, Associate Editor here at Progressive Grocer. Welcome to Top Women in Grocery, a podcast focused on the trends, topics, and interests that move women forward in grocery retail. We're spotlighting extraordinary women in the grocery industry who have had successful careers and interesting lives, and who are also making a positive impact in their workplaces and in their communities. So today we're sitting down with Ashley Chaney, Director of Field Marketing and Promotions at Grocery Outlet. We are really happy to have you here, Ashley.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
So today we're going to kick off our discussion as we usually do. What drew you to grocery retail and how has the industry kept you around?
I have always been a foodie at heart. After college, I started working in nonprofit marketing in Washington, D.C., and was surrounded by everyone who was incredibly passionate about what they did. And though I loved marketing, I really wanted to be involved in food. So I moved to the West Coast. I went to the Culinary Institute of America, and I worked in some restaurants after that, but really missed the connection between people and food and being front of house. So with that, I forayed into the grocery industry and had my first position as a cooking demo specialist at Whole Foods Market. I had wonderful opportunities working at the Oakland store and stayed with Whole Foods Market for quite some time in my career. I moved back to the East Coast, where I'm from, to start a family. And then I spread my community engagement marketing with Whole Foods Market to initially start with local stores in the Philly suburbs, then supporting the greater Philly metro, and eventually leading community engagement marketing with Whole Foods Market for the Mid-Atlantic. And at that point, I absolutely loved what I was doing, supporting the community and really connecting about affordable food and healthy food for folks that we serve. And at the same time, I was looking for next steps in my career. So with that, I started talking to Grocery Outlet, who I was familiar with from my time living on the West Coast, where Grocery Outlet had so much brand love. And my friends and my coworkers at Whole Foods all shopped at Grocery Outlet because of the extreme value and savings. So I was talking to Grocery Outlet. I was loving my time at Whole Foods. And then there was this story about this entrepreneur who was opening his own grocery outlet in Sharswood, which was a food desert in Philadelphia. And I was so inspired by the story of bringing food access to a community in need and also fulfilling the dreams of this entrepreneur to really start his own business. And that was what gave me the inspiration to go to Grocery Outlet, where I felt like I could really help more, not just by bringing food and affordable groceries to people, but also helping these entrepreneurs with their vision to own their own business.
That is incredible. So walk us through your journey as Director of Field Marketing and Promotions at Grocery Outlet. What do you find most energizing and engaging about the work you do today?
So my time at Grocery Outlet has been phenomenal. When I first started, I was overseeing East Field marketing. So I really helped introduce the brand to new communities in Delaware, New Jersey, Maryland, Ohio, and then had the opportunity to oversee all of field marketing, especially as we moved into new markets on the West Coast, like Las Vegas, and supporting growth in our core markets as well. And then since that time, I've also supported our promotions as we've really looked to level up the way that we're interacting with our in-store promotions and activations with our stores and operators. I'd say the two things that I love the most and keep me the most engaged are, one, the ability that I have to go to all the new store openings and really see and hear how we're touching lives for the better and bringing affordable groceries to folks in their communities. It's amazing to see moms with kids in their shopping carts and just see how impressed they are that they're able to really stretch their dollar, which means they can redirect their additional finances to support the needs they have for their families. So that's one thing. And then the second thing I really love is that because Grocery Outlet purchases opportunistically, we're really able to divert food waste by bringing it to people at a discount. So anytime there's an end of season or a short dated product, we can pass along that product, divert it from a landfill, and get it to folks who really need it.
That's really, really important work moving to underserved communities. And Grocery Outlet also has a really unique ownership model as well, which makes it possible to do this important work. It's an independent ownership model that looks like it makes your job as a field marketer particularly challenging. So, what does a successful local marketing initiative look like for Grocery Outlet? Has your work there changed the way you think about your field marketing strategies as a whole?
Absolutely. It's completely different with an independent owner-operator model. It's so important that the operators are really the face of the stores in their community, and they're the secret sauce that makes us who we are in the neighborhood grocery outlet. But because of that, we need to have a mutual partnership when we do marketing programs and promotions and field marketing. Because if we don't have the buy in and the trust from the independent owner operator, it won't be a successful promotion or event. So, one of the things that we do is we work really closely together to test things, especially in new store markets, to understand if a promotion works for operators as well as works for the return on our investment. And we use that and the results as a way to scale things company wide. As far as new stores, we test and pilot a lot of different programs, which give us the ability to see what works with the operator and also keep them front and center in the connections they're making in the community.
So, speaking to community, how does Grocery Outlet approach community outreach when it's entering a new market?
That's a great question. It's really our operators. So, our team, the field marketing team, starts working with operators immediately when they're selected for their store. So, though we do our own research, we use tools like Placer AI, we visit the communities and we understand what's going on there. It's really important that the operator also find the groups that they want to connect with. And they're also the ones who are living in that community with their families and know what's going to resonate with their audience. So, when it comes to supporting community engagement and connection, our team works with operators through pre open of their store all the way through year one. And we work with them on their local store marketing strategy to help them with social media, to give them guidance on community connections, best practices for working with the Chamber of Commerce, partnering with schools, working with local gyms, finding the nonprofits that can also help them maximize their visibility and leverage the promotions that they have. And then through that year one, we also create in-store moments to invite in the community to really foster that relationship with the independent owner operator. For example, for new stores in March, we held a customer appreciation event where we offered a promotion, which was 10% off everything at the store that day. But it was really about putting the operator front and center. And they found ways to appreciate their community as well. They did thank you notes for their shoppers, they did a meet and greet with the operators, and they used this as an opportunity and platform and social media to say thank you too. And again, it's about that mutual benefit and really keeping the operators as that cornerstone in their community, since they're the one bringing these great deals and great values to their shoppers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It seems like a really solid strategy for entering new communities. And it was interesting you mentioned social media because I heard recently that the Grocery Outlet burst onto the shoppable live streaming scene, which is pretty novel as an outlet for retailers yet. So, what inspired this move and how did it come together?
This has been an incredibly fun tactic for us. It is brand new. We're always trying to stay on top of trends and also find customers where they're at, right? Everyone's on their phone all the time. So we had this idea to do this shoppable live stream. We did it first for Super Bowl about stocking up for the big game. And we most recently did one for St. Patrick's Day as well, where folks could watch along as we highlighted some of our best deals and at the same time click and add to cart on Instacart. We've been really looking to grow our e-commerce business as well, and this has been a really strong tactic that's proving successful for us.
That's awesome. So, how does Grocery Outlet bridge your standard community driven marketing strategy and your paid media campaigns?
Right. So, as I've spoken a lot about, the independent owner operator is incredibly important to us, but also is driving awareness of our extreme value and the treasure hunt at Grocery Outlet. So, we really look for ways that we can bring promotions to life through in store or take what we're doing in store and really amplify it through our paid media campaigns. I think a good example of this is our Independence from Hunger campaign, which we have every summer. So, this is a campaign where we fundraise for local food rescue organizations in the community. And what's special about it is each store and operator picks their local pantry. So, it could be a larger food bank, it could be a small church pantry next door, but they find the partner they're excited to work with. And then we amplify the campaign through our paid media channels and through our own channels to make sure that we're amplifying awareness of it.
So it seems like your work has really earned you the mantle of top woman in grocery, which is a title that's reserved for exceptional leaders and industry pioneers like yourself. So is a history of mentorship, formal or otherwise, a key component of your effective leadership?
Absolutely. I would say throughout my career, there are lots of women and men who have helped shape where I'm at and also given me guidance and wisdom to help me be successful through different phases of my career. I think I don't have a formal mentor at this time, but there were a couple examples I wanted to share of women who really helped shape where I'm at now. So, one is from the very beginning of my career when I was working at Whole Foods Market. I was hired by a woman named Perry Kramer. She was the marketing team leader for the store. So, it was her job to do all the community outreach and connections. And she hired me as her cooking demo specialist. And I remember it was the first or second day at the job, and Perry told me that her personal goal was to be the strongest and best marketing team leader in the region. But that also her goal for me was to be the strongest and best demo specialist in the region. And I still remember that moment. It helped me understand that competition is okay in the workplace, but also if you set your goal to stand out, you have to find a way to do that. So she really helped me work on honing my skills in communicating my goals, communicating my successes, recapping results, and gaining the visibility to help me get to that point. And then the other example I wanted to share is more recent in my career at Grocery Outlet. So I had two different women in the C-suite at the company who really helped me grow and gain visibility. It's a challenge leading East Field marketing for a company based in California, right? So most of the players are in the West. Most of the visibility is what's happening on and going on in California. But because they saw the successes that I had, they helped get me the platform to get more visibility. They invited me to speak at operator meetings. When I came out to the office, they had me represent marketing and speak about our department in front of other senior leadership. And they not only gave me a seat at the table in meetings, but they also welcomed me and gave me a core part of the project to lead. That way I was able to get more exposure and have their support and championship through it. And I think that's really helped propel me to where I am at right now.
That is absolutely awesome. So I have one final question to take us out. You have a strong history of mentorship, as you mentioned. So, what are some ways that those looking to become mentors can show up for retail marketing mentees, especially if they're women coming into this industry?
I think part of it is making sure you're championing folks behind the scenes, making sure you're giving them the accolades for the work that they're doing, but also helping them understand company culture and the dynamics behind the scenes, especially in a world where we're on Zoom so much. Sometimes folks don't see what's going on behind and understand the most effective or efficient ways to communicate with folks and to really get to the decision makers. So I think it's helping demystify what that looks like in the culture, but also championing them in front of the team. And I think it's about being honest too on what you'd like to see that person grow to do, but also inspiring them to tell you what their goals are so you can be aligned on helping them reach them and having that open, thoughtful dialogue throughout the process.
Well, thank you so much, Ashley, for sharing your career journey and your insights with us. We are so happy to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
And thank all of you for tuning in. For more information about the Top Women in Grocery podcast, visit www.progressivegrocer.com/podcasts. You can also subscribe to the podcast wherever you usually listen, including on Apple, Google, and Spotify. If you have an idea for a Twig podcast topic, we'd love to hear from you. Send an email to ecrow@ensembleiq.com. Until next time, thank you for listening.